Alright, what's going on, guys? I want to go over the trade that I took on Friday. I took two trades. The first one was a loss, second one was a winner. First one shouldn't have been a loss, but I'll go over that in a second. Um, so this was the Thursday candle. We had an inside day on NQ, but ES had expanded a lot, so we can go there quickly. Um, ES took out this high, so we have SMTU with ES on the higher time frame, and ES is actually almost at all-time high. But you can see pretty much Friday just took Thursday's high and then came back into the range, which I guess was pretty much expected. I had two different kind of outlooks on the market. I ideally wanted to see NQ meet the weekly draw on liquidity, which I thought was this high up here, but it ended up having SMT with Wednesday's high and then coming back into the range, which is okay because my trade, my bullish idea, was still played out. So now that we have our drawn liquidity and we also have previous day high as a, or we have Wednesday's high as a draw, we can get to Thursday. So we had a 4-hour CSD here overnight. So now I was expecting this 4-hour fair value gap and these down close candles to hold price and to send us at least into Thursday's high, right? So we play price. You guys can see that we continue to wick inside of this 4-hour fair value gap. The bodies are closing outside of the FVG. And that's exactly what I kind of wanted to see, right? If you drop into the hourly time frame, now that we have our bias played out, our thesis made, we can see that the 4-hour fair value gap is being respected well. We have an hourly fair value gap that we're sitting inside. And so now what are we waiting for? What are we looking for? We're looking for some sort of protected low until most likely the range high, right? So this, if you're just trading this strictly off the range, this would be range low, and then this is range high up here. So now we have a 4-hour fair value gap sponsoring the move. We have a low created at 2 a.m., which is exactly what you want to see. We have a stop run underneath the Asia low, failing to displace through Asia low. And then now we have a candle closure above this 2 a.m. candle. So to me, this would be your change of the state of delivery right here. And now we're expecting higher prices at least till here, and ideally I wanted this and then this weekly objective, which I thought was going to get hit. So all I did now was wait for the next key time, which was 9:30. So price is continuing to just wick in this area. We had news at 9:45, so 8:30 has no weight today. But then I dropped into the 15-minute time frame. We have midnight opening price getting chopped around. And what happens when you're sitting inside of consolidation in a bullish market? We're going to have some sort of expansion, right? So that's why at least the lowest hanging fruit is this swing high up here. And that's where I took off a majority of my position, which you guys will see here in a second. But all I was waiting for was this. All I was waiting for was a 15-minute CSD. We got it here. And ideally, I wanted to see a 15-minute fair value gap get left, and that's exactly what happened. So price fails to take this high, and this is at 9:15 now. So I went long straight off of this candle, and NQ has been doing this the entire week. I told myself that I should have waited for a little bit of a lower entry. I should have entered off of this rejection block. I know it's not actually a rejection block, but just the closing price of this down close candle would have worked a lot better, and it was still inside of this fair value gap here, which was underneath the CE, which is that lower quadrant of the fair value gap. So I could have got a greedier fill just because of the tendencies of this week, and then my stop loss should have been at the swing low down here, which would have only been 22.5 points of risk for a first take profit of 40. So almost a 1.8R trade, which is completely okay with understanding that this is most likely going to be the draw on liquidity. This is where you're likely to find some sort of resistance at. So taking a partial at a logical level with almost a 2R trade is completely okay. So what I did was I entered off of this wick here with the upper quadrant of this fair value gap, and my stop loss was the rejection block or the closing price of this down close candle. You guys can see I literally got stopped out to the penny. And after I saw the 15-minute candle close, I was like, damn, okay, I just got turtle souped. I knew I was on sides, so what I did was I looked here and I saw that this 1 minute low and this move down from 930 was just a 930 Judas swing. And why was I confident in re-entering? So we took this low, immediately snapped back above, closing above the opening price, and we had the new day opening gap. And this was that 930 high, which 930 I wasn't expecting to be the high of the day. You guys can see relative equal highs as well as that range high, which is all the way over here. And if you look in a fractal sense, this is the original consolidation high. So this is where we expanded to, started to consolidate, and then we had some form of retracement, consolidated again, and then now we're expecting that one last leg of continuation at least to this 4-hour high. So I entered literally as soon as we closed above here. I got in, stop loss was at the low. And my risk wasn't removed until we took out this high once again up here. So ideally, I wanted to see this stay open, and it did stay open after we got this pump here. But I knew that NQ is one, the weaker pair of the week, and two, it's been doing this whole whiplash back and forth almost the entire week as well. So I didn't jam my stop. I didn't reduce my risk. I was completely comfortable taking another loss if it would have occurred. And as soon as we had 9:45 news, that's when I moved my stop to break even. And you guys can see I got filled anyways, so didn't even matter. I was 8 of my 10 micro contracts off here, and then I left 2 runners for exactly what I thought was going to get the drawn liquidity, which I thought it was this Wednesday high and then this weekly drawn liquidity up here, but it was not. Price failed to do so, which is completely okay. I had no harm in that. I got stopped out right here, and then price actually ended up having this hourly CSD and then taking out London low. But I was already done for the day since I went 1 for 2. But the one thing that I do want to stress here, and just this is like kind of like a journal for myself, is that I need to listen to how the tendencies of the week are, and I literally could have got a much better entry, and then understanding that this low should be protected if we're going to draw to our liquidity area, right? And instead of having that stop loss here, right, just risk the extra 4 points that you need, so I wouldn't have even gotten stopped out in the first place. The only reason I also didn't want to do that is because the RR was skewed, so this is something that I definitely should have had a better entry for, just so I could have had a better RR trade, right? So if I would have entered lower, you can see that would have been a 2R trade at that point. But really the key here was just the 930 Judas swing. Taking out this area of liquidity, should have understood that the market's been heavily manipulated this week. And so 930 Judas swing, this looks like a classic turtle soup to me since we are in an hourly PD array down here. So we are having a higher time frame key level to sponsor this move. And I liked how the bodies kept continuing to close inside of this new day opening gap after the turtle soup. And the same thing happened on the 1 hour. That's why I was also initially bullish here as well. If you look here, the candle bodies continue to close inside the new day opening gap. So that's why I was very confident in at least this high getting hit. And so that's why I framed my long trade this morning, as well as price continuing to chop along that midnight opening price. But moral of the story is have your stop loss where it needs to be, not with how much not with how much money you're okay with risking. If I need to risk a little more, I need to just size down, right? But was able to get it back and end the day green. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.